Hello, good afternoon. This is News Today with me, Mapita CBD. Our headlines: no traffic at Kaswa and Tema motorway toll booths following suspension of road tolls on public roads. We've got details. Also, government explains how the 1.75% e-levy will work. Government introduced two legislations to change the state of prisons in the country. Details of these, plus sports and business and world news in this package. Stay for details. In our first story, Joy News checks at some toll booths show that traffic congestion has eased following government scrapping of tolls on public roads and bridges. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on Wednesday disclosed to Parliament that though the tolling system has played a crucial role in funding the expansion of Ghana's road infrastructure, it creates unpleasant situations at tolling points, a reason it's been scrapped. Maxwell Agwaba visited the Tema motorway toll booth this morning, and here's what he found.
Per the directive from the Roads Ministry and also as contained in the 2022 budget, motorists are no longer going to pay tolls. And as contained in the statement that we saw from the Roads Ministry, security personnel, police officers here, armed police officers are actually on ground right now, ensuring that there's decorum here. Now, for persons who are not aware of this particular directive, what happens is that sometimes when they get to this point, they slow down, but two armed police officers who are there will signal them to move and continue, their journey. And that is what we saw when we were at Weja earlier in the day, at the Weja toll booth also. We saw a man who was manning the toll booth. He was actually screaming at motorists, pass, 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 pass. That was sometime around 5:30 a.m. because some motorists were not aware of the directive. Now, what this has caused here, and what we've actually also seen at the Weja toll booth, is that for hawkers or for some of the sellers here who take advantage of the situation to cash in and to do business, many of them are out of business now. As you can see, this place is currently bare without sellers. Some of the sellers who are even around are unable to do business here. Here at Accra Tema motorway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the toll booths, all of them are empty. The only people we can see here is the Ghana Police Service, armed police officers, 2 of them, signaling motorists to continue with their journey, to move and not to stop. Let's speak to some of the sellers who have been cashing in on the congestion that is created here as a result of the toll booth. Let's speak to them. Many of them are telling me that their source of livelihood now is gone because this toll booth is no longer going to function. And that is what we saw when we visited the Weja toll booth also. Hello. Yeah, from saying.
But your friend Juliana.
Oh, Juliana.
Me pachai.
Okay. Yeah, Bano, Behonsana. Buku came say Yambrana and Numunkasa and Numunkasa. I didn't.
I hear Yanni a year, Juma didi. I hear Yanni a year, Juma de Shayemba. Yenny made you my beer, one may more ever quiet. Yenny made you may be a one may more ever day. Yabaka quiet.
I didn't know.
Me pachon Kosiana Manu Yesu, almost all my means in him. Meaning the young quiet, a young cobble chronos, a young cobble. But two young master, I'm about to say young quiet day. Okay, well. Basically what she's saying is that now that they've stopped collecting the toll, what do they want them to do? What does government want them to do? Because you're too about or Mayimu. Oh, yeah, for na two back at Sia or Mayimu, Yasalian Mache, Niakosala, one was can you about Sayan Mache or Cosala Yatuaba? Yatuaba, one Jenny. Eh,
She says usually poor people are the ones who join queues to vote for government, and she's saying that they join the queue to vote for the government, and this is what they're getting as a reward. She thinks that a source of
market because almost all register me kitanta for me no says bla me nya den me nya kunumpo inti me nya den.
Well, she says she has twins. She cannot go to the market to sell, and she doesn't know what to do basically, and that's the concern she's raising. And her story mirrors what many of the people here are saying. Usually they'll be in the traffic selling, but that is not the case today.
If I show me the fear.
Now, in the affect to say,
Bibia Munchese, Abraboni, Munaya Haya. What's here? It's none and I could for their quenim Sabia back when Mukakra. Now we are quadra chamber, almost on my Medjala and Mukramanja, because Carlos Solani channel, yes, it's me, Tom Bibi, and my and Sakoyan says, I lie into your best out of Bibi.
Okay, well, what she's saying is that they make money when there's congestion here, and that's how they sell to the people who are in the vehicles and the cars paying the toll. Now that the toll booth is no longer going to function, she doesn't know how they're going to survive. Yeah, that's it. Well, she says she's a member of the New Patriotic Party, and she's a member of the New Patriotic Party, and that she thinks there's a lot of hardship, and that the governance of the country is not really going well. More of them want to talk to us. At this point, it is very difficult to speak to the motorists because many of them are going beyond 60 kilometers per hour. Like I mentioned, to get any of them to talk to us.
That was Maxwell Baba at the Tema toll booth, while Enim Ado also visited the Kaswa toll booth.
In the over 10 years since this road was constructed and this toll booth was constructed, it's an almost unprecedented scene to see cars and traffic flowing freely at this point. But this is the aftermath of the 2022 budget, where toll booths were thrown away, some would say. No more taxes at the tolls, no more collection of money at the tolls. You don't have to pay the usual 50 pesos or 1 CD at the tolls to be able to get through. And so you can see that traffic is moving so freely this morning. What's really funny though is there's some people who perhaps may have missed the budget and so are still sticking out their hands to try and pay the toll operators, the non-existent toll operators who this morning are not at post. That's been quite funny to see. But on the large, people are just driving through. A lot of cars are honking when other cars slow down. Perhaps those who don't know that they're not meant to stop and give money anymore. So this is the scene from Kaswa this morning. Free flow of traffic and an almost celebratory mode, especially from the trotro drivers who, well, they don't have to pay money anymore, do they? So that's what's happening here. On the other side though, the usual crowd of hawkers can't really be found. If you look around, you notice that there's normally quite a good number of people who are selling, drinks, bread, all sorts of things, plantain chips. We can't really find them this morning because the traffic is moving, so there's nobody to sell to really. But on the other side of the road, those who have mounted stands, so those who are selling bread and drinks and have tables, are at post. However, you would observe that actually people are not stopping to buy those things because we do a lot of convenience shopping, and so it's not convenient anymore to actually stop. We're going to go over to some of those who are selling by the roadside and talk to them. But for this morning, I think that most passengers are quite happy to not have to deal with the traffic. At the Kaswa toll booth, and this morning the MP for the area, Mr. Sylvester Tete, is here to address concerns of the hawkers because this is their business. business, this is their livelihood. And this morning, there's really no one to sell to. So they've gathered here, as you can see. They seem really annoyed, not happy about the situation. But the MP is here, so we're just going to have a quick conversation with him and find out what he's doing here and what he plans to do about his constituents who are very upset this morning.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's usual of any human being when you are affected by a policy of government. Naturally, you react the way my constituents are reacting. I was in Parliament yesterday when the policy was introduced. Quickly, I had to make contact with them because I'm in constant contact with them. Even before yesterday, throughout the electioneering campaign, I've been here. Some of them are residents and constituents. They voted for me. So I have to come in and explain the government policy to them and announce an intervention I personally have for them in this constituency. I've announced 3 interventions that I'm going to do. We are going to do a registration of all the members here, and then I'll personally give them some soft interest-free loans, give it to them not to repay back, to support their businesses ahead of this Christmas. And then also the young ones among them, I've asked them to put their names together. I'm going to train them in a vocation of their choice. And then the third one is to liaise with the municipal assembly to create a temporary market for them or to integrate them into the existing market. I'm going to look at the cost of getting into the existing market, to liaise with the assembly, to give them time to pay, because if you ask them to go back today and demanding money from them, they won't be able to pay.
That was the Honourable Member of Parliament for this area. And there are lots of hawkers around. They're not happy at all. I'm not sure if some of them will speak to Muni Mebekasa.
Nana Kufuadwe, Midinyamidi Pachawo, Midinyamidi Pachao, Midinawa Mikunawu, Mikuranqualanum, Traffic Imwan, Amadichi Adaka, and one of the Ranqualani Suku, the Osia Juma, one of the Manisia Juma, Nasa Wimanua de Anigua, Nasmina Dia, Nana Kufuadu, Midinyamidi Pachao.
Meanwhile, government has been explaining how the 1.75% e-levy introduced on electronic transfer of money will work. Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumar has been explaining on the AM show.
Currently, you know the telcos, when you send, you pay. The receiver also pay. Government.
No, if you send. If I receive money,
you pay. Yes.
If you are withdrawing,
yes, you pay.
So if I'm receiving money on my,
yes,
I don't pay.
But once you withdraw, you pay.
Okay.
But it's not like that with the government policy. It's only when you are sending. And let me make it clear: we have been patient with this toll levy, with this e-levy, especially with regard to Momo for a very long time.
All right. Government
has consistently invested in Momo and digitalization in our country to get to where we are now.
Now, I would want to understand the investment.
But before, you could not even do interoperability. That was a huge investment by government to promote Momo transactions in our country.
That
exactly, and that has also shot the transactions up to 500 billion. Government could have introduced Momo.
Is it the case that people doing more mobile money because they find it convenient, or you think it's simply because there's interoperability, that's why it's happening?
First of all, interoperability helps the convenience, so we are saying the same thing. But the fact is that with COVID, lots of transactions have gone digital now. Now the economy is moving more on digital. Some people will sit on their phone, go on Instagram and order shirts, dresses, instead of going to a shop. So a lot of things have changed. And so if you are a government, one of the strategic things you can do is to go into that sector and get some revenues. Now, we are not just looking for revenues. We also want to give relief to Ghanaians. So we did our research and found out that about 30% of Momo users in Ghana fall below a certain bracket, about 30%. They do not do Momo beyond 100 cedis a day. And for government, that adds up to about 3,000 Ghana cedis a month. We exempted all those category of Momo users. So if you are a poor person, you are earning less than 3,000 a month in terms of the interpretation, you are not going to pay anything when you send Momo. And that means that your first 100 cedis transaction on any Momo transaction you do is exempted. But once you cross 100 cedis a day, then you are going to pay 1.75% on your Momo transactions, okay? And it is only the person who is sending who is receiving, the person who is paying, not the recipient. We have to now sit down with the telcos from now to the implementation to see how we figure and once this is also going to...
Shouldn't this have been the conversation before?
It's done, but I'm saying that they have their charges. Government has their policies. Now to implementation. The implementation is clear. Government says that any transaction above 100 Ghana cedis, this is our charge. Telcos also have their charges, okay? But you see, in every business, whenever a tax is introduced, you also have to review the impact of those taxes on your businesses. And I'm saying that in the implementation, it could even be that the telcos can also say, because of this introduction of 1.75 from government, this is how we also want to do going forward.
All right.
Yes, but for now, the implementation is clear. Government is charging 1.75% above 100 Ghana cedis transactions.
Former Deputy Finance Minister Dr. Kasio Atto-Forson, however, disagrees with this move. He's been telling Israel why.
The electronic transaction tax, I call it digital tax. It is not a tax that we should entertain. It is one single tax with 3 legs. The first leg is that it's going to tax Momo users. The second leg is going to tax people that are remitting. And the third one is going to tax bank transfers. So I will take you first to the bank transfers. Financial inclusion is everything. Banking sector inclusion is everything. We have said time and time, and successive government dating back from Jerry Rawlings to President Nana, all of us, we've tried as much as we can to make Ghana a cashless economy.
Or cash light.
Exactly. That is something that almost everyone wants to do. Sadly, this government is telling us that today, if a bank do a transfer for a customer, that customer is going to incur a tax of 1.75%. So what it means is, for instance, if you work with me and I ask the bank to transfer electronically your wages at the end of the month, even though I've paid taxes, I've been working as a withholding agent and collected the taxes and paid accordingly. Yeah. The government is telling me I'm going to pay tax on the transfers that I'm remitting to you as your wages. There's a limit to what the economy can take at a particular point in time. What he just said, the example he gave, he's contradicting himself. The bullion vans. The reason why we are actually asking those people to stop is for us to encourage them to do electronic transfer, isn't it? Now, government policy is going to encourage, because people will rather avoid paying. And so government policy is now going to encourage cash economy.
No.
I say this because if there's going to be a burden on me to remit money, and for instance, if I'm doing a business, for instance, take a real estate company, someone who has built a 1 million house.
Can I no, please? No,
you were quiet.
No, but you're here for education.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Let me finish.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, but it's not a burden on the remitter.
So it's a burden on who?
On the receiver.
Yes, of course.
So put it rightly. It's not a remitter.
No, I'm talking of the transfer.
Right.
I'm talking of transfer. I'm not going to remittance.
Okay.
I'm talking of the transfer. Okay. So it's the person actually doing the transfer internally. Okay, so this transfer that I'm talking, I've not gone there. There are 3 layers.
Remittance.
Yes, remittance. I've said I'm starting with transfers. So I've not gone to the remaining 2.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm talking about the transfers. And the transfers is that, for instance, you have a real estate company. You have someone buying a house from someone. Let's say 1 million Ghana cedis for easy calculations. 1 million Ghana, so 100,000 Ghana cedis. It should go through the banking system so that you'll be able to identify the person for tax purposes. Now, unfortunately, if that person pays 1 million Ghana cedis, what is going to happen is that person is going to pay 17,500 Ghana cedis as transfer tax, apart from the conveyancing cost and the stamp duties and all what they are going to pay.
Away from the budget, Government intends to introduce 2 legislations to change the state of prisons in the country. This includes a bill to amend the Criminal Procedure Act to incorporate plea bargaining into the justice system. This move was revealed by Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dame, who's been visiting the Jamestown prison here in Accra. Joseph Akable is with the team and joins me on the phone with further details. Joseph, if you can hear me, what else has the Attorney General been saying?
And so the major concern really has to do with the fact that a lot of the prisons across the country is currently congested. He makes the point that indeed a Justice for All program, which commenced in 2007, which simply takes the justice administration system to the various courts to ensure that persons who are mostly on remand, their cases are heard to ensure that they are released to free up the prisons. That has already helped, but he believes that more could be done, and so they intend to do 2 things. The first is that they are going to amend the Criminal Procedure Act to allow for plea bargaining. So in the event you commit certain types of crime, if in some instances corruption, for instance, you may be allowed to refund the money so that the state will not have to waste resources to prosecute you and have you put in jail to burden the criminal justice system already. Again, there's another bill that has to do with the alternative sentencing regime, so that instead of sending people to jail for minor offenses, you can let them do community service, among others. And so those are the 2 measures that he says will be crucial in ensuring that we reduce the numbers in the prisons. And so far, he's been touring and interacting with inmates here at the James Camp prison.
All right, so that's my colleague Joseph Akable with that update of that story. Away from that, an estimated 128,000 babies born in Ghana yearly are preterm. 8,400 of these babies die before age 5, mainly due to direct complications of prematurity. Head of Child Healthcare at the Konfanachi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Plangerul, has observed preterm births have gained public health prominence, but the treatment of babies comes at a high cost. There's more in this report.
The 8-year mother and baby unit at the Mensha Hospital is inadequate to support the smooth running of the facility. Health officials are compelled to admit 21 babies daily, including preterm babies. Kangaroo mothers have to endure a long sit-down, suffering swollen legs in the process. A pediatrician at the hospital, Dr. Koko Tete, says the challenges at the facility hamper effective health care.
Sometimes no family support, and they are staying there for very long without any comfortable place to actually stay, because the place is really small. It can take only about 8 babies, yet we admit 21. So it makes them really uncomfortable over there. I think that is really our biggest challenge.
Is it the preterm babies or the mothers?
The mothers. As for the babies, I mean, eventually we would find a space for them to be put on. Remember, they don't occupy a lot of space. But we are nursing the babies and the mothers together, because we can't have a mother go out of the hospital. How we feed the children? So the mothers and the babies are all nursed together. And so because of that, they don't have space. Remember, it's even smaller than a regular bedroom.
Management indicates the prolonged challenges at the facility have weakened the efficiency of its best health officials. Wife of the Asantehene, Lady Julia, through the Otunfo Charity Foundation, is supporting the expansion of the MBU. The administrator of the hospital, Rosemond Oforia Manfo, says they are delivering the best of services despite the challenges.
You see, mothers have gone through surgeries of all forms of labor issues. Then they come up with preterm babies. They are sent to the wards, and they don't have a place to lay their heads. It's pathetic. So now she took the project as part of the maternity expansion. Fortunately, the sword cutting has been done. The project has been earmarked to be commissioned next year.
Meanwhile, it has been observed that most kangaroo mothers abandon their babies at the hospital out of fear. Aisha Bawa, a deputy in charge of the MBU, says the hospital has started education on the preterm babies to psychologically strengthen kangaroo mothers.
Obviously, every mother wishes that at the end of the week, she's supposed to name her baby. They are supposed to do a naming ceremony for their babies. So when it happens that the day is here and then they're at MBU, normally they are not always fine. So they can just give us an excuse that they are going somewhere, they want to meet somebody here and come. But the time you realize they've gone home, they are going to have their suna or the naming ceremony. Sometimes it does happen when the babies are here. So normally we have to track them, trace them to their homes, and then talk to them. Then also talk to the elders at the various houses to encourage the mothers to come back. It has not been easy, but we are trying our best.
There is an uneasy calm at Abuesi, a fishing community in the Shama district of the Western region, following a standoff between the fisher folks and the Fisheries Enforcement Unit over the compliance of illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing regimes. An officer was injured while a patrol vehicle was damaged in the standoff. However, 3 weeks after the incident, the fishermen have beaten a retreat, rendering an unqualified apology with assurances of ensuring full compliance. There's more in the following reports by correspondent Nathalia Kwanzaa.
Fishers at Abuesi in the Shama district of the Western region have once again rendered an unqualified apology to the Fisheries Enforcement Unit in the region and the Fisheries Ministry over a recent standoff in the community. 3 weeks ago, a team from the Fisheries Enforcement Unit went to the Abuesi community to enforce and ensure illegal, unreported and unregulated compliance. However, the team came under attack from the community members. The community, led by the chief fisherman, Nana Kondua, has since been apologizing as the community has come under heavy sanction.
We didn't allow them to do their work, pelted them with stones, vandalized their patrol car and injured one of their commanders. I want to apologize to all stakeholders in the industry to forgive us. We have been reeling under dire hardship since the incident. We feel sorry for our action and we promise to comply with IUU. We want to assure the ministry that the unfortunate act will not happen again.
A programs manager at Friends of the Nation, an environmental non-governmental organization and implementing partner of the Improving Fisheries Governance in Ghana, Che Yamboa, is worried that despite government's efforts to improve the governance of the fishery sector, the sector is beset with several problems, including extensive light fishing and brazen acts of disobedience, evidenced by numerous cases on non-compliance and weak enforcement.
The fisheries livelihood is at the verge of collapse. In fact, scientists say we are near collapse. What it means is that most fishers go to sea and come back without fish. And the issues that have contributed to this largely include illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. What it is that globally we are losing more than $10 billion annually from illegal fishing. And Ghana, we have experienced the decline in fisheries. We have realized that for some years now, the fish landing has been all-time lowest, and Ghana keep importing close to 60% of the fish that we consume locally. This we all know. That is not good.
Mr. Yamboa, however, has described as commendable the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture's approach of using the supply of premixed fuel to fishers as a beginning chip in ensuring that there is a high level of compliance to illegal, unreported, and unregulated practices.
Due to the widespread illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, the European Union Commission has issued a yellow card to Ghana. First yellow card was issued in 2013. Governments in Ghana put in place some structures and regulatory framework and illegal provisions. And in 2015, the yellow card was lifted. But somewhere 8 years down the line in 2021, we have also received another yellow card. And the issues is that we are not implementing the laws and the regulations that we made on fishing. We also want to condemn the recalcitrant action by fisher folks, especially in the western region community of Abuesi.
For Joy News, in Athalia Kwansa, Western Region.
Back here in Accra, 4 mechanics have been arrested by the Environmental Health and Sanitation Department officers of the AMA for flouting various sections of the bylaws, including the obstruction of the flow of people and vehicles, working under insanitary conditions, and improper disposal of waste. After several warnings, the officials locked up a dilapidated spraying oven, which they say compromises the air quality. Michael Papani Ashali was with the Joy Clean team and has the rest of the story.
In the Mamprobi area, health officials have closed down a makeshift mechanic shop. The authorities say the pollutants from the shops is hazardous to the residents and is polluting the environment. After several warnings, this time, no amount of plea will save the shop.
This is where they spray the cars, and this is a residential house. You understand? So fumes, dust, and impurities from here. It's like the whole air here is polluted. The people in this vicinity, they can't breathe good air. So imagine the chemicals from this spraying car. That's to the people continuously. And look at the structure. You can see the structure. The structure is not protected so that the fume and the gas and whatever should remain here.
I mean, they said they've warned you before. How come you've not worked on it?
We bought the materials that we are coming to change it, renovate the place. But at the moment they are doing some spraying, so when they finish, then we do the renovation. And the carpenter said maybe by this weekend he will come and do it.
But we are going to.
When spraying, it doesn't go.
The people here, they complain. Look at the opening. You are spraying.
Even no spraying, and we can hear.
And you can hear the scent. The impurities, the gas, the fumes.
Malik, I think what we can do now is that you polluted the people for so long, and today we are not going to leave you. Arrest him. We will take him to court today. We will arrest you and take you to court because it's like the leniency we have on you. You are abusing it. This is unacceptable.
No, we are not going
to our satisfaction. Okay. If this place,
so let's move this car out.
Then we come and then inspect it and see whether the place is conducive for your business. Okay. If the place is conducive for your business, we will open it for you to operate. But from today, right now, you are not going to operate again. You won't spray any single car here again.
So move this car out, then we move this car.
Please.
You're still watching Joy News Today with me, Mapita Sibidi. Up next is Business with Darryl Carl.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. The Finance Minister says government's 2022 budget is targeted at empowering Ghanaian entrepreneurs and the business community. But some startups and small business owners in Kumasi say they are worried the budget will rather stifle growth. Prince Apia spent time with a young startup on the budget and our reports.
The 2022 budget statement and economic policy had a theme: building a sustainable entrepreneurial nation, fiscal consolidation, and job creation. This meant that it is supposed to create an economic environment conducive enough to enable businesses, especially startups and entrepreneurs, to thrive. In a jiffy, I'll be speaking to an entrepreneur to understand what this particular budget means to him and his business. This is Kofi Asamoah, a young businessman who has invested in the sachet water business in Kumasi when he moved back from his base in the United States of America. He was hopeful of a reduction in fuel prices because of the impact on his business.
We deal in production and transportation, so it does really affect our business because as a couple of weeks ago, we were buying about close to 2,000 for a week. Now we are doing almost 3,000. but then the products, we are still selling at the same price. We're looking for some reliefs so it can reduce our operational cost or expenditure, but nothing came up, and I'm really, really disappointed.
Among the few revelations from the budget was the introduction of the 1.75 e-levy on Momo and other electronic transactions. Mr. Samoa is worried this will affect his operations.
Now it looks like we have to resort to cash and checks because we are going to have to pay extra when we do electronic transactions. I do Momo transaction like 5,000 a day, close to 10,000 at some point. So I'm going to pay 1.75 or a levy on it. I'm going to save money, especially if I'm paying too much for fuel already, and there's already other taxes going on with it. So I think it defeats the idea of promoting electronic transactions per the vice president's digital whatever that he's trying to do. It's actually going to make me not do electronic transactions.
So 1 billion Ghana cedis every year for a period of 3 years meant to boost and capitalize the SME startup ecosystem. That's under the new initiative, the You Start initiative announced by the finance minister during the budget presentation. But already there are concerns about access to funds from initiatives like this.
And there'll be more analysis on You Start on the marketplace at the top of the hour. In other news, the Ministry of Trade and Industry is expected to hold a crucial meeting with the leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association over the 50% and 30% benchmark values which the government has reversed in the 2022 budget. Confirming this to Joy Business, President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, explained that this meeting will be factored into discussions ahead of the post-budget debate in Parliament.
Already, I've been in lengthy talk just after the budget with the Deputy Minister of Trade responsible for our sector, trading. And she has indicated that she is going to meet with us ASAP to start this engagement. And so we are not joking. We wouldn't just sit down for anything to be imposed on us, never. So we'll talk through, and we also understand issues. We know how the manufacturing industry also require. We know what government also need, even in terms of revenue. But it shouldn't be said that they are doing all this against one sector, that they do not care. They should also care for us, because we are all a major stakeholder and we are in distress period, that they should understand our plight. Care should be taken that when we reverse the benchmark value, duty is going to go up. Already the final consumer is overburdened. They are not buying. The turnover is not there. So if we increase again, the pot might be empty in the coming year. And then you have targeted that because you've increased the tax, you are going to have your worth, and you will not even get your target, meet it. And so we have to put everything on the scale, weigh them, and see how it will balance up for all of us. And that we should also think about not doing anything for us to also feel that we are not even part of the schemes of affairs in this country, the common trader. It's very pathetic.
And there's more on the budget on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Head over there for the latest. And sports coming up next. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, and this is Sports on Joy News today. The Ghana Football Association describes as shocking and irresponsible match-fixing allegations leveled against it by South Africa's Football Association, SAFA. Ghana edged out South Africa 1-0 in the final group game of the World Cup qualifier played in Cape Coast on Sunday. Well, the South Africans contend a penalty awarded Ghana, which led to the only goal of the match was predetermined and a demanded replay of the game. But in a strongly worded statement, the GFA has condemned SAFA, describing the allegations as irresponsible. The Ghana FA
also did indicate that they have beaten South Africa on numerous occasions, and this was not going to be the last time Ghana was going to beat South Africa. On our screen right now, this is a reaction from the football governing body in Ghana, where they say it is shocking, irresponsible, and outright disrespect to note that our colleagues from South Africa Football Association, with whom we have good relationships with and mutual sporting respect, have chosen to spread falsehood to the media rather than project the real picture of events before, during, and after the game. They said first and foremost, before the game itself, lies about the distance between Accra and Cape Coast were released to the extent that it was alleged that the South African football team took 9 hours to make the journey from Accra to Cape Coast after they arrived in Ghana. Then again, the official handle also tweeted during the match that the South Africa team was being intimidated, molested, and robbed in Cape Coast. That is a statement of the Ghana Football Association. They say, even though we believe that it is within the right of the South African Football Association to call for investigation if they feel that certain factors contributed to their loss, we wish to state that the way and manner lies and allegations have been thrown into the public space has been very irresponsible, leading to injury and violence. That is a statement from the Ghana Football Association. We wish to state categorically that the allegations are frivolous, baseless, and lacks merit, and should be treated with all the contempt that it deserves. A powerful statement from the Ghana Football Association. These allegations from the South Africa Football Association are nothing but planned scheme and a calculated attempt to shift focus from the defeat, divert attention from their failure to qualify to the playoffs, and unjustly dent the hard-earned victory of the Black Stars. It is sad that even innocent ball boys, that is ball retrievers, were not spared in the allegations. In fact, the Ghana Football Association will not allow the SAFA to visit its incompetence on it through these allegations. It is not strange that the coach of the South African national team thought that FIFA will use head-to-head when two teams end the group stage with the same number of points, and had to be corrected by the media. The South Africa team actually thought that Ghana needed a 2-0 margin to qualify, when Ghana needed any win to qualify, per the FIFA regulations on the World Cup qualifiers. Ghana has beaten South Africa over and over again. The GFA say it is not the last. Let's talk about the budget for 2022. And the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, he has stated that works on the Accra Sports Stadium are almost complete. According to him, it's 98%. Speaking on the floor of Parliament while delivering government's budget for 2022, he said several stadia, including the Cape Coast Stadium, to aid the growth of sports in the country, were also near completion.
Ghana will participate in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham and continue preparatory activities towards organizing and hosting the 13th Africa Games in Accra in 2023. Government will procure sports logistics and equipment and begin the construction of a new multi-purpose sports hall, hostel facilities, and Olympic-sized swimming pool at Boteman in Accra. Mr. Speaker, some stadia across the country were renovated in 2021 and at various stages of completion as follows. Accra Sports Stadium, 98%, Phase 1 of Baba Yara Stadium, 98%, Esipon Stadium, 90% complete, Cape Coast Stadium, 60%. In 2022, government will continue the construction of the Abreu and the new Edubiasi Sports Stadia, as well as commence the rehabilitation of the Sunyani Coronation Park Stadium.
Just before we came on air, Joy Sports have picked intel that 54 members of the Ghana Football Association have presented a petition to the football governing body, demanding that they call for an extraordinary Congress because the previous Congress held on October 28 indicated there was going to be a new pyramid for Ghana football, which will have 18 clubs compete in Division 1 effective 2022-2023 football season. These 54 members who have signed the petition have got the likes of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Kim Faisal, as well as Wafa and many others signing the petition, which was presented to the Ghana Football Association earlier today. Yesterday on the AM show, we had reported that part of their agenda was to pass vote of no confidence on some members of the Executive Council, but that part of the agenda has been expunged, leaving only 4 where they want a review in some of the statutes that were put together but are now defunct Normalization Committee. That is it for sports for now, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. And this breaking story coming to our attention will also be published on the website. We appreciate your company this afternoon.
That's how we end Joy News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapita Sibidi. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.